Brady blue.
Brady blue. What about green?
This full house came dangerously close to being incomplete.
Every time I get thrown up on or I'm changing a blowout or something crazy, it's like I am like, ew, but I'm also smiling through it because I'm just glad that I get to have this experience again because I was so close to not being able to have it.
Shortly after a C-section to give birth to twins, Aaliyah Walker's health took a turn, her partner Brady in the room with her as her eyes started to dim.
When they were doing her tube removal, she looked at me and she said, "I can't breathe."
Aaliyah's blood pressure dropped and they lost her pulse for 4 minutes.
It was terrifying. I just kept saying, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, this doesn't happen to 26-year-old healthy people.
A CT scan showed blood clots in her lungs, pulmonary arteries, and heart. Once stabilized, Aaliyah was transported from Sibley Memorial Hospital in D.C. to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore.
The last thing I remember is my baby shower.
Wow.
Yeah, it went back that far.
Due to something called ICU delirium, Aaliyah has no memory of any of it.
When I woke up, there was a huge push for me to not have all of the information given to me at once because that can be really damaging.
She spent 24 days in ICU facing sepsis, hemorrhagic shock, and respiratory failure. Thankfully, her doctors were able to avoid an open heart surgery and get her treated. But while all this was happening, her babies were still in the NICU 48 miles away at the hospital in DC.
Getting the support from, like, healthcare, which a lot of times is super rare, was amazing.
The team set up Zoom calls so they could see their twins.
I guess it's a blessing and a curse that we'll never know the fear of, like, sitting there, seeing them in the NICU and, like, seeing all those wires attached to them and growing and stuff.
This little one had a lot going on.
Were you surprised by the amount of responses that you received from that post?
Immensely.
24 days ago, I died giving birth to them.
She shared her story on TikTok, with one post reaching 5 million views and counting.
The amount of people who flooded in, whether it was themselves or a friend or their mom or their sister, and the stories almost mirrored mine in a lot of ways. I would have never known that community of people existed, and I don't think a lot of them would have known that so many other people had gone through what they went through as well.
She credits teams at both hospitals for saving her life, but her partner for making every tough decision when she couldn't.
People seeing Brady advocate for me so strongly, they reach a little bit further into their communities, into their pools of people to say, like, hey, I kind of want you to be as invested in this as I am.
Aaliyah says doctors believe she had antiphospholipid syndrome, an autoimmune disease that increases the risk of complications during pregnancy. Women with APS are 5 times more likely to have a stillbirth.
For our community specifically, we sometimes lack the resources, and we sometimes lack the ability to ask the questions because we don't know what questions to ask.
While they run more tests.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, can we go, Daddy?
She's soaking up every moment with her family.
It feels like I'm complete again because I woke up feeling very incomplete, and I feel good now.
All right, guys, thanks for watching WMAR2 News on YouTube. If you enjoyed that story, why not hit that circle and subscribe? We post stories directly from our newscast right here every single day, and you can watch anytime you want.